Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So for this title to make sense, I kind of have to do a little bit of a backstory, but it ties in together. So this story takes place in my final year of high school, and I was in my communications class. So basically how the class is, you walk in and like the outline of the classroom, so like a big ass border, there's a whole bunch of computers and there's tables in the middle of the classroom. So in this communications class, basically it was like just to learn how to communicate with people. So you do like computer work, you do a whole bunch of worksheets, and then if you're finished, you got free time. So I was finished my work at the time, and in my free time, I write. I've always done that. So I was sitting at the tables, just writing, just minding my own business, talking to anybody, wasn't saying anything. I was just sitting there writing. And the teacher was walking around the classroom, and about, I would say, 15 minutes in 15 to 20 minutes into the class, in walks my ex's brother and two of the other guys in the group, and they're laughing and they're joking. They're literally just walking into class. This isn't the class. They don't have classes here. They didn't have that class, so they had no reason to be there. And I was just like, oh great, here we go. So I just was minding my own business, like trying to like disappear, if you can imagine this, in the middle of the class. I'm just trying to disappear. And they came to see that guy that I said I wasn't 100% sure that this was the sixth guy in the group, but they came to see him and just like, whatnot. And the teacher wasn't stopping them. Like, she was actually joking around with them, like just in the middle of class. And this was a common thing for them. They could just walk into class and do whatever the fuck they wanted. It was a common thing throughout like all of my school years. Like, this is what they did and nobody gave a shit. It was just the whole attitude of the whole school, pretty much. Except for one of my classes, and I'll have to do a video on that. And that was like, I basically only had one ally in there, and that was a teacher, but that's a whole other uh, thing, video. So, anyways, back to this video. Sidetracked. So, my ex's brother saw me. And I knew he saw me because he started like doing like this weird creepy laugh, and he's like, "Oh, look boys, the cunt's still alive. I guess we have to try harder." And I look up and they're looking at me laughing. So at this time, I was just literally tired of all this shit. So I stood up and I looked at the teacher. I'm like, "You're not going to say anything to them?" And she was laughing. She literally laughed and was saying, "Boys would be boys." And so I was just packing up my shit. I didn't give a shit anymore. I was packing up my shit, and the teacher's just like, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, "I'm leaving. If you're not going to do anything about the situation, I'm going to do something about the situation." So I threw at this time, like, I had like a briefcase type backpack. I wouldn't say like it was a backpack, but it was like one of those like bags that hang on the side. I don't know what the fuck they're called, but anyways, I threw that over my shoulder, and I began walking to the front of, like, to the door. So it was kind of like to the front where I was facing. And she's like, "If you leave this classroom, you're going to be in trouble." I looked at her and said, "I don't care. What's the worst you can do?" You literally stood there laughing at them as they called me the C word, and you did nothing. You think that that's what boys are all about? I don't give a shit. And I walked out of the class. And I would just remember just being so frustrated and just exhaustedly done. Like, this teacher stood there and she couldn't deny that she didn't hear, like, that they wanted to basically make me kill myself and also call me the C word. Like, there was no way she could deny it. Like, there was a classroom full of people and she couldn't deny it. So I just remember the hallways were empty, and I remember just walking down this long hallway, and then I found this stairwell, which wasn't a common stairwell which people used, so I knew it was going to be quiet. And I just remember slamming my bag against the wall, completely frustrated, and I remember grabbing the railing and squeezing it so hard that my knuckles were turning white. And then I remember staring down and being like, it would be so easy just to jump. And I just remember staring at this bottom of the stairwell. And for the longest time, it must have been like a good 10 minutes. And then like I remember releasing the railing and stepping back, being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, don't let your thoughts go there. And I remember pulling out my phone. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? Like, I was like on autopilot, and I was just like scrolling through, and I dialed a number. And I listened to it ring, and then I heard a voice on the other end. And don't get emotional. This voice was my aunt. And she said, "Hey, kiddo." That's what she liked to call us. And she said, "What's up? Aren't you in class?" And I'm pretty sure she knew it was bullshit, but I said, "Oh, I had a free period. I just wanted to give you a call." And I know she knew it was bullshit because I didn't have free periods. And I knew she knew that, but I think she could tell in my voice that I was upset. And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, what are you up to?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just sitting in the stairwell. I just wanted to hear your voice." And she's like, "Oh." I said, "Yeah, you were on my mind, and I just wanted to hear your voice." And she said, "Oh, is everything okay, kiddo?" And I said, "Yeah, everything's fine. I just really miss you." And she's like, "Well, I have a story for you." And she just went in and was telling me about her day and how she was playing the piano and she was doing some house cleaning and my uncle was out grocery shopping. And she talked with me for a good half hour, and I relaxed. And she's like, "Kiddo, I know something's wrong. So what's up?" And I said, Nothing. I'm just having a little bit of a rough day. And I just wanted to hear your voice." And she says, "Well, if you ever want to talk about it, it doesn't have to be now. But I'm here for you. I love you, kiddo. And I'm always going to be here for you." I said, "I love you too." And I could hear the front door open. She's like, "Oh, I gotta go. Your uncle's back with the groceries. I'm gonna help put them away." I said, "Okay, I love you." And she's like, "I love you too, kiddo." And that was it. I hung up, and I knew I only had like a period left to school, and I basically said, "Fuck it." And I walked out of the school. I grabbed my backpack and I walked out of the school. I said, "You know what? Mark me absent. I don't really give a shit." And that was just one of my moments of not feeling alone. My aunt had this ability of always making me feel loved. Even if I knew I was screwing up, I didn't know what I was doing, I knew she was always going to be there. You know, she would tell me, "You fucked up," or, whatever, but, "I'm here for you. Let's figure it out together." And nobody knows this. I wrote it in my book. Well, I mean, one other person knows about this, but going back to my video yesterday when I was starting to do that speech and stuff, and then a family member got upset and said, why didn't you ever tell, your aunt, I know you two were close, blah, blah, blah. I did. It was the summer after I graduated. So I graduated in June, and I went to visit my aunt in Montreal and my uncles. And I needed to get away. So I went to go see her. Like, I was done, I was preparing for college and stuff. I just needed to get away. And I think everybody knew I needed to get away. So off I went. And I was there for a day or two. And we went to Starbucks and we got a tea. That was our thing. And we got like this lemon kind of bread. And I remember sitting in her kind of dining area. And like, she knew me like a book. Like, she knew something is wrong. So she says, hey, kiddo, I know something's on. I can see you hurting. And I know your dad's frustrated with you. And I know that they don't know what's going on. And I said, it's nothing. I was in panic mode because I was like, fuck, I have not been hiding this shit well. My God, they're going to think I'm a screw up. Like, oh my God, they're going to be disappointed in me. And I was gripping the chair arms. And I remember the look on my aunt's face. I could tell she was worried for me. And she said, kiddo, we love you. I love you. And there's nothing you can tell me that I would be disappointed with you. I'm not going to be angry with you. We can figure this out. And I took a sip of my tea and my hands were shaking. And I went back to gripping the armrests. And I looked up at her and I said, I fucked up. I made a mistake. And she's like, okay, what happened? And I said, I dated a boy. And for the next 3 hours, I told her everything. She would stop me here and there and ask me questions and wanted me to clarify something. But she listened. She didn't judge. She got angry, but not at me. She got angry at the situation. And I kept apologizing at the end. I kept on saying, I'm sorry. I know the family, mom and dad raised me better than this, I was a really shitty person and I'm so sorry. And she said, kiddo, it wasn't your fault. You didn't ask for this. This wasn't something you went out and waved a flag around and said, hey, I want this to happen to me. And I said, no, I never did that. And I told him, I fought for as long as I could, And she nodded. And then she said, okay. Do you want to tell your mom and dad and brother? And I said, no. Not yet. I'm not ready. I said, I'm not in a good state, that I know there's going to be a lot of conversation to happen and a lot of emotions, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. She said, okay. That's okay. Thank you for telling me, and I love you. There's nothing that you did that was wrong. You survived. And I said, I want you to know I'm not a victim. She said, I know you're not. You're a survivor. And she said, I'm gonna tell you something. That when the day comes that you're ready to sit down and tell everybody, I will be there for you. Call me up and I will come down. I will drop everything and I will come down and be there for you. Unfortunately, that day won't come. She passed away 6 years ago. And I still haven't sat down and told my family everything. It's been a interesting journey for me of trying to figure out everything and how to say it and when to say it, and not doing it in a way that will feel like I'm messing up. And a few years ago, so when I did this speech, it was a year after my aunt died. And when, that family member kind of freaked out on me, it shut something down inside of me again. And I was like, okay, well, I do not handle these things well. I don't say it the way that they want it to be said. And it got to the point, choking on my own spit here, where I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't have to be on their terms. It has to be on mine. They might not like how I say it or how I tell them, but it's not up to them to decide. It's up to me to decide. And that's also something that my aunt told me, that it's up to me to decide. There's going to be no perfect way in everybody's eyes but yours. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be messy, and people are going to get pissed off at you, but it's the way that you want to do it. It's your control. This was something that happened to you, not them. So who gives a shit about them and their ways of wanting things? It's about what you want. And sometimes I forget that, and sometimes I forget to put my needs and wants first to make myself happy. Excuse me. And my aunt is my guardian angel. She has always been my guardian angel. Even before I knew it. Even when she was alive. She was always there for me. She was the rock of the family, She wasn't perfect, but who is? She made mistakes in life. It happens, Nobody's perfect. And, I know she wasn't. And she knew that, I have made mistakes, that shit happened to me, but I was trying. And I'm so thankful that she saw how much I was trying to get my life together before she passed, because for a while there it was a little bit sketchy, and after she passed it got sketchy again. But I got my shit together, because she was probably like throwing stones at me like, Jess, get your shit together, like, wake up, woohoo. Right. Oh, I can just picture her somewhere sitting in a rocking chair, looking over her book, because that was one of her favorite things to do, was read, just giving me that eye, but like, girl, get your shit together. I love you, but get your shit together. But I was so glad that I wasn't in a good state, but I was in a better state than I was. I was getting on medication to help myself, because that is something I needed. Again, not for everybody, but that is something what I needed, and I was working and going to school and just trying. And I'm so thankful she got to see that. After she passed, yes, things got a little bit more sketchy for me again. That was just due to the fact that I wasn't on the right medication, and a lot of shit was happening, which I will do a video about that, because the group of 6 contacted me. Let's just leave it at that for now, and I will do a video on that. There's lots of there's lots to do with that. That's all I gotta say. So that's kind of why I went on a spiral of a whole bunch of messy shit. But yeah, I'm always going to be thankful for the time that I got with my aunt. And I know she's still watching over me, due to the fact that I know how this is crazy and not everybody believes in this, but there'll be occasions, well, I remember my dreams and she comes and visits me. I know how crazy that seems to some people, but it's just something that she does. And she reminds me that she loves me, and we just sit and talk in my dreams. It's very, it's nice. And sometimes I'll wake up in tears, because I know that that's just a dream, and I miss her every single day. And I love her, and I really wish that my future kids would have gotten to know their aunt. But that doesn't mean they won't hear stories about her, or pictures, or videos, or they'll get to know her through my family, through my uncles, through my dad, and through my brother and my mom and stuff. And I'm so thankful that I was able to lean on her when I did, and have her be my rock and my support system, even if, my family or friends around me didn't exactly know what was going on. She did. I'm thankful for the ability to have this platform to share, my life and learning experiences and pieces of the good and the bad. And I'm just thankful to even share a small piece of her with you guys, just to know what a kick-ass person she was. And I want to share more stories about brighter days and stuff, and that does involve her and stuff. And maybe that's like years down the road that I'll be sharing this, but I'm very thankful that she was there for me in a time when nobody else could reach me. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Thursday. It would be Thursday when you guys are seeing this. I'm filming it Wednesday. Anyways, guys, remember, never give up. Always keep fighting. You are loved, and you're very much needed. You are enough. And until then, guys, until the next video, because you can tell I can't really speak English by this time. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.